We all remember those days in school, sitting at our desks, surrounded by books, trying to memorize formulas, historical events, and scientific theories. But when you leave the classroom, you realize that life doesn't always follow the syllabus. There are lessons that are never written in textbooks, lessons that school never taught me, but changed my life in ways I never imagined. Today, I want to share those life-changing lessons, the ones that school never taught me, but I wish they had. These lessons have shaped me into who I am today and continue to guide me. And trust me, they'll change the way you think about success, failure, and everything in between. Let's start with something that school tried to teach me to avoid: failure. In school, we're taught that failing is something to be ashamed of, something to hide. We're taught that success means acing every exam, getting perfect grades, and always being on top. But what they don't tell you is that failure is actually one of the most powerful tools you'll ever have. I remember the first time I truly failed. It wasn't during a test or exam. It was in real life. I started a business when I was younger, a side hustle I was so excited about. I invested money, time, and energy into it. But within 6 months, it failed. I was devastated. I felt embarrassed. I thought it was the end of my dreams. But here's what I wish someone had told me then. Failure is not the end. It's a lesson in disguise. It teaches you things that success never can. It teaches you resilience, problem solving, and the importance of adapting. If you're not failing, you're not growing. It's okay to fall as long as you pick yourself up stronger. In the end, that failure became the foundation for my next project, and that one succeeded. Without those early failures, I wouldn't have the wisdom I have today. Now let's talk about something school definitely missed: financial literacy. When I graduated, I knew how to write essays, solve algebra problems, and memorize historical dates. But money? Not a clue. No one told me how to manage finances, how to budget, how to save, or how to invest. I remember when I first got my paycheck. I was so excited, I spent almost all of it. Fast food, new clothes, and unnecessary gadgets. I didn't think about saving or investing. Fast forward a year, and I realized I was living paycheck to paycheck, constantly stressed about money. That's when I learned the importance of financial education. I had to start from scratch. I read books, listened to podcasts, and sought advice from people who were financially successful. Slowly, I learned how to budget, how to save a portion of my income, and how to invest for the future. The truth is, financial literacy is crucial, yet school doesn't teach us that. Learning how to manage money is just as important as any subject you learn in school. It's something they should have taught us, because understanding how to grow and protect your wealth can truly change your life. Now let's dive into something that school definitely doesn't teach: emotional intelligence. In school, we're taught to focus on our grades, on being smart, on winning every competition. But how many times did school actually teach us to understand and manage our emotions? How many times did school teach us how to handle stress, frustration, or fear? The truth is, emotional intelligence, or EQ, is often a far more important skill than IQ. I spent so much of my life thinking that success was all about being the smartest, the most talented. But over time, I learned that emotional intelligence is what truly makes a person successful. It's the ability to handle stress, the ability to empathize with others, and the ability to make calm, thoughtful decisions in tough situations. I had to learn these skills on my own. I had to start by understanding my own emotions, recognizing when I was stressed or overwhelmed, and learning how to manage those feelings. I also learned how to connect with others on a deeper level, not just focusing on what they can do for me, but understanding their needs and emotions. Once I embraced emotional intelligence, my relationships improved, my decision-making became clearer, and I began to handle challenges with a new sense of calm. Emotional intelligence isn't something you can learn in a textbook, but it's one of the most powerful skills you'll ever have. Here's another big lesson that school doesn't teach: the importance of building relationships and networking. We're often taught that success is about how well we perform academically, how well we do on standardized tests. But the truth is, success is about the people you know, the relationships you build, and the connections you make. I used to think that success was a solo journey, that I had to work hard, study hard, and achieve things on my own. But I quickly realized that the people I surrounded myself with had a huge impact on my success. Whether it was finding mentors who guided me, colleagues who supported me, or even random connections that turned into business opportunities, networking has played a huge role in my success. The right connections open doors that hard work alone can't. School didn't teach me that. They taught me to focus on individual achievement, but in the real world, success often comes down to collaborating, networking, and lifting each other up. So remember, your network is just as important as your skills and knowledge. Now, let's talk about something crucial: health. School taught us about the importance of science and biology, but never did they really teach us how to take care of our own bodies. No one told us how important it was to stay active, eat well, and manage stress. I spent a lot of time focusing on grades and work, pushing myself past my limits and burning out. I neglected my physical and mental health, thinking that success would make up for it. But over time, I realized that without good health, nothing else mattered. If you don't have energy, clarity, or peace of mind, it's almost impossible to reach your goals. Once I prioritized my health, getting enough sleep, exercising, eating nutritious food, and practicing mindfulness, I found that everything in my life improved. I was more productive, more focused, and I felt better about myself. Health is not just physical, it's also mental. And you can't succeed without a healthy mind and body. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? These lessons, failure, financial literacy, emotional intelligence, networking, and health, are the things that school never taught me. They didn't teach me how to handle life's challenges or how to build a successful future, but they are the lessons that truly matter. These are the things that can shape your life in ways no textbook ever could. And if you can learn them, you'll be far better equipped for life beyond the classroom. So take a moment to think about these lessons. Which one resonates with you the most, and which one will you start applying today? Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What life lessons did you learn outside of school that changed your life? Share in the comments below, and let's continue to grow together.